my lovelies. This is not going to be a fun video. Considering talking to the same subject matter on my backup TikTok account that was nearly 3K followers got banned because minors did not like what I had to say and they false flagged my videos until I got banned for whatever violation that they abused. I'm anticipating that I'm going to be seen as a bad person for this video. This video, I want to talk about parasocial relationships. There is one thing about parasocial relationships I just really want to get off my chest and put out into the etherverse. And it's the cold truth that your favorite content creator is not responsible to maintain and regulate your mental health. People who live stream, make videos, post on Instagram, we are not therapists and we are not obligated to take care of you or help you when you randomly show up in our DMs and start spouting off whatever abuse you're going through, your mental health crises, or your... Oh my god. This has happened before, so it's not an exaggeration. You're venting to us about how you're having thoughts of taking yourself off this earth before it's your time, and you need an interaction from us to save your life. Now, the reason why I feel like I'm gonna have people call me a bad person or even try to cancel me for making this video, because I told you what happened over on TikTok, because clearly this is a very unpopular opinion. For some reason, people, especially when it comes to minors that latch onto an adult that they like idolize because it's their favorite content creator, they feel as though it is the adult's responsibility to take care of these children if these children like latch onto them in a parasocial way, and the adult needs to feed that parasocial relationship in order to maintain that kid's mental health, when no. In this video, I really want to talk about how not only unrealistic is that expectation, but it's also not fair, and I want to talk about the retaliation when adults do not feed into that type of parasocial relationship. So you see that runtime, grab a snack, grab some water, get your whatever tools you like to draw with, and set your phone or whatever your device you're using to listen to this, and yeah, let's get going. Your favorite content creator is not your therapist. You do not know them, even if they aren't that private. When it comes to what they post about themselves online, you do not know them as intimately as you believe you do. I follow a lot of people in the art commentary community who do not cover drama. A couple of them have talked about the subject that I'm addressing, and some of which who made their own videos ended up putting their own boundaries in their video. And for this video, I'm saying video a lot, goddamn. I'm definitely going to be putting up my own boundaries while I give my thoughts and opinions when it comes to this particular issue involving parasocial relationships. In case you don't know what a parasocial relationship is, it's a one-sided imaginary relationship where an individual places somebody on a pedestal and has all sorts of idealistic standards and like ideation about the person who they view as an object of affection. I want to make it clear that it is completely one-sided. The person you are having a parasocial relationship with, they do not know you exist. They do not have the same feelings as you do, and when they do interact with you, I promise it's not as a big a deal to them as it is for you. It's as meaningless as smiling at a stranger you make eye contact with as you pass each other on the sidewalk. I'm not saying that content creators don't care to have good interactions with their fans or positive interactions. For example, I enjoy and really appreciate when you guys draw me fan art, but we're just not looking to start plucking you guys off the cyberweb and adopt you into our social or familial circles. That is something that should be universal common sense, but for certain people it's not, which is why parasocial relationships are very unhealthy and can often be dangerous for both parties, even more so for the unwilling participants. Because parasocial relationships can lead to cases of stalking, harassment, murder-suicide, or false allegations when the person having the parasocial relationship doesn't get what they want, or when interactions don't meet their idolized expectations. Yes, you heard that correctly. If someone with a parasocial relationship doesn't become close friends or lovers with their favorite content creator, especially if that person is a child, they will fabricate false allegations of grooming and sexual abuse. This happened to plenty of YouTubers and TikTokers in the past. Some of them did have a temporary career annihilation, but were able to make a comeback as a public figure or be a behind the scenes working with somebody else when these allegations were inevitably proven false. Or tragically, some of them did end up taking their own lives due to the bad backlash and harassment they were getting during the time the false allegations were being issued. And the person who made the allegations, even if it was a minor now legal adult, has gotten away scot-free and no accountability is being held to them because they were a dumb kid. They didn't know any better. And disgustingly enough, they don't feel any guilt for what they did, as if the person they put in a parasocial relationship going through the hell that follows false allegation was a justified punishment for not getting the acknowledgement that you specifically wanted, or that the content creator didn't cheat on their partner to be with you, or because they didn't give you specifically a very special social interaction or any form of special treatment when you approached them. A lot of people do try to defend and act as though parasocial relationships can just be completely harmless. For example, if a content creator voices about how they struggle with making friends and maintaining relationships, something a lot of neurodivergent people face, especially if they are on the autism spectrum, they will get a bunch of comments from their followers saying, "Oh, but you're my friend." They might not seem like a big deal. That's an example of how people see parasocial relations as completely harmless, but it's still really weird to tell a content creator that they have a bunch of parasocial friends, because friendship is a two-way relationship. It's not one-sided relationship. Being in a parasocial relationship, that person does not know you. They don't know anything about your life, and they probably don't know you specifically exist because you're just another screen name that's in their notifications. Even if people are acknowledging they're in a parasocial relationship, that doesn't make it any less weird. It's not a good thing. In fact, it can still escalate towards crossing boundaries or end up being very dangerous territory for the person that they are heavily fixated on. The person in question would end up having to move houses due to parasocial relationships, get the police involved because of parasocial relationships, or end up getting in therapy or just never feeling safe in their own home ever again because of parasocial relationships. I know I just went through a 7-minute preamble to ride home how dangerous parasocial relationships are before getting to the main point. I thought the information was important enough to put at the beginning of the video before getting to the main point. And the main point I want to talk about is that there's one aspect of parasocial relationships that's as common as seeing your favorite content creator as your friend. And that is seeing your favorite content creator as a safe space and wanting to treat them like a therapist. Your favorite content creator is not your therapist, and they have no obligation to fulfill that role for you. That is a boundary that is not okay to cross, and there is absolutely no excuse to trauma dump and try to hold accountable a complete stranger the regulation and soothing of your mental health struggles. When I made a community post showing the thumbnail, I said that I feel like I was going to be made out to be a bad person after posting this video, but my belief on this is really strong. I'm willing to take that risk. The reason why I feel like I'm going to be labeled or made out to be a bad person is because it's very heightened right now to hyper focus on protecting children and catering towards them when they're having some mental health struggles or going through like anything. In general, that is a good virtue for adults to care about predators that are targeting kids or kids spouting suicidal ideation, crying out for help. However, there is an expectation to that where it is unrealistic and unfair to hold somebody to that standard. And that's when us content creators have someone in our community latching onto us through a parasocial relationship and just dumping all of their baggage onto us and expecting us to sort it out for them and to personally take care of them. Despite what's going on with us, despite the fact that you're a complete stranger, despite the fact we are not qualified or don't know how to help you. If the person doing that to an adult content creator is a child, onlookers still expect us to be the adult that person needs to help them because they don't have that person in real life. If a content creator is an adult that's being approached like this by a minor, as adults, onlookers expect us to set aside our own comfortability, to swallow our own mental health problems, to ignore and turn our back on our own personal life struggles, and be the stable adult that kid needs because they don't have that in real life. And if we don't do that for boundary setting reasons, this is really fucking weird and we're not qualified reasons, we are told and posted publicly about being bad people that don't care about kids' safety, we don't care about mental health, we don't care about survivors, we don't care about victims, or whatever, just to start a witch hunt as some bullshit form of punishment. I'm sorry, but that's really unfair and not a realistic expectation. It's also really shitty to try to use emotional blackmail to get them to change their mind about filling that role for you. And it's really shittier to try to cause them problems in the public eye when they are steadfast with holding their boundaries and don't give you what you want. At that point, you are extremely gross and selfish. A content creator should not have to live up to what you expect out of them just because you like their videos or their art. We are not your friends. We do not know you. We are just people that post stuff online and happen to gain a following. We are not trained psychologists or people that are authorized to take care of you when you are struggling. A lot of us are in therapy or having like a crisis counselor on speed dial. We are struggling to function ourselves. We are just not qualified to be a stable adult to help somebody else. And what's messed up, whether or not the person is open about their mental health or personal life, you will cling onto whatever little aspect and act like you can see yourself in this content creator. Therefore, according to your parasocial relationship, they know exactly what you're going through when that's not true. You are a complete and total stranger. Just because we may have the same diagnosis or disorders, that doesn't mean I know you as well as I know myself. You'll be surprised how a lot of people, even adults, don't truly know themselves when it comes to mental health issues and diagnosis. So how the hell are we supposed to take care of you? It doesn't matter if you are a grown adult. It doesn't matter at the time of recording this. I am 29 and you're a minor still in school. It doesn't matter if your favorite content creator is the same age as you. It doesn't matter what you're dealing with in your personal life, what you're diagnosed with, the symptoms of your mental health, or whatever mental health struggles you're going through. It is not the responsibility of a content creator to regulate and maintain your mental health. Also, I'm not ignoring the fact that adults will also do this to kids, which is why I'm touching on it right now. Yes, there are some issues like within the art commentary community, art community in general. There are adults that will latch onto kids within certain content communities and will display the same behavior. If you are a 32-year-old woman, it's extremely inappropriate for you to try to make friends with a 15, 16-year-old girl that's a little more well put together than you are and try to use her as a venting ground. I'm sorry your marriage isn't going well. I'm sorry your kids are ungrateful, spoiled brats. I'm sorry your coworkers are nasty bitches. But you don't need to go to a teenage girl and treat her like a marriage or a life coach. But yeah, a lot of people, mostly minors that rely or expect a content creator to be a safe space for their mental health, they don't like hearing the word no or boundaries being placed against them. They can't accept, especially if the content creator is an adult, that there is no obligation to be their lightning rod. I'm sure you remember how earlier in the video I was talking about how a minor that's going through issues of whatever abuse or some type of mental health struggle, they expect content creators that are adults to step up and be the one responsible of taking care of them, you know, to fill the void of a surrogate parental or type of familial adult that they rely on and vent to. Yeah, I wish that was an over-exaggeration. On my backup account where I was advocating for minor online safety, you know, keep NSFW stuff out of kids spaces, children stay out of adult spaces, I did bring up this topic before, and I did have minors on TikTok completely snap and lose it on me, laughing hysterically like it was the greatest fucking gotcha they have ever witnessed when they heard someone say, it's not my personal responsibility to take care of that child. They really think it's a gotcha when you say it's not your personal responsibility. Then they start hammering in the questions of, well, who else are they supposed to rely on? Who else is supposed to be responsible for their mental health and safety when they have no one like that in their real life? They literally spelled it out like I'm stupid, and that is all sorts of unhinged. Like I keep saying, that expectation is unrealistic and it's not fair. It's also extremely inappropriate because a lot of children who vent their mental health problems or frustrations online about being abused at home or whatever, they could be approached by adults that pretend to care about them and try to groom them, which just circles right back to false allegations when you don't get what you want. So no, content creators, especially adult content creators, should not give in to and feed some random kids' parasocial relationship and need for safety and comfort.
Well, if they don't have anywhere to go, then they have nowhere to turn to, so what else are they supposed to do?
You're already online to begin with, and Google is free. It is not hard to type in mental health hotline for your area code or the city and state that you live in where you can actually get some help. There are plenty of resources you can find with a simple Google search that can put you in touch with somebody who is actually qualified and has the skills necessary to help you than some random adult you latched onto because you like what they post online. I understand that people, especially kids, can be scared of actually utilizing those resources, but that doesn't make it okay to see your favorite streamer or whoever as a safe place to vent out your frustrations and talk about all the bad things that are happening to you or how you want to end yourself in detail. Pointing out resources that exist that you can easily find online is literally the only thing we can do for you. And this might be an unpopular opinion. Silence is also a valid option. We can just ignore you, and if you're persistent, we will just block you. I cannot emphasize how messed up it is when it comes to these type of parasocial relationships, which is why I am constantly repeating myself throughout this video. It's really weird to feel so comfortable to the point where you will go to a random live stream chat, private message, or whatever means of communication for your favorite content creator and just start trauma dumping about what you're going through. I am repeating myself a lot in this video, and that's intentional because a lot of people don't listen, or if you're watching this while drawing, which good for you, I hope you have a fun time drawing, you tend to miss something when I say it only once. So I'm saying it again and again and again. Your favorite content creator doesn't know you as well as you've tricked yourself into believing you know them very intimately. It's not fun when you are hosting a live stream or checking your comment section or emails and some random tells you that they were going to themselves, going into detail their method of how they want to end themselves, and going down to the location of where they're going to do it and have their body be left. Which, once again, you do not know the content creator. Even if they are open about their mental health and stuff, and even if they don't have a history of self-termination, ideation, or abuse, reading that stuff can emotionally devastate us. And I'm not talking about you've killed the vibe and put us in a bummer mood. No, you have us crying for hours or days after reading your message. Yeah, randomly reading your chat or your email, your comment section, and then somebody goes into detail about how they wanted to off themselves, how they were going to do it, and where they were going to do it. But then they followed up with being cute by saying, but then I saw your live stream and I had fun, so I decided to live one more day. Smiley face, winky face, heart emoji. Yeah, I'm not going to dissect the whole, trying to be cute with your declaration of, I want to live one more day because of you. No. Getting messages like that is not fun. And since a lot of us adult content creators have our own mental health problems, like I said, you can put us in a devastating emotional state. Once again, I'm not talking about getting bummed out because you killed the vibe. A lot of us, it's rare for us to have good days. So yeah, when we're having our first good day in weeks or months or hell, the first time in a year, and we read stuff like that, you're not only killing the vibe, you are throwing us off so bad. I'm talking about breaking down, crying for hours or days because you screwed us up by putting us in that bad of a mental state because you went into detail on how you want to kill yourself. And it doesn't help that a lot of you, if the first attempt doesn't get you the attention or the reaction you were hoping for, you will be repeat offenders and will keep coming back and doing the same stuff until you get the attention you want. Even if the content creator isn't somebody that has the type of history of, like I said, being abused or having mental health issues such as self-deletion, ideation, you are still making them very uncomfortable by telling them stuff they do not need to know about you, nor do they consent to know about you, which in turn is making them very uncomfortable. Which is why silence is a valid option. Leaving you on red, completely ignoring you, and even blocking you at the first message, or blocking you when you are persistent and constantly sending us those type of messages or leaving those type of comments because you think for some reason that's going to get the attention you want and that's going to make us grow closer together. And if you want to turn this into well, you don't care about mental health struggles, you don't care about victims, you don't care. If you want to emotionally blackmail somebody because you think that's going to further get you your way, we are extremely valid for blocking you if you want to play that card. And while this happens, it's not a surprise that a lot of content creators, they just lose the drive to post anything online because they do not want to receive those type of messages anymore. In fact, there are a lot of content creators that have completely ghosted their own fan bases and started over on completely new secret accounts with a new community for the sake of their own peace of mind and protecting their mental health. I can't imagine being a disabled person where YouTube is your only source of income and you grow to resent your fan base and your community because your boundaries are not being respected. Even worse, you're being painted as a bad person for, again, not bending over backwards to be the cornerstone of someone's mental health or the decision of whether or not they live another day. That you either delete your page or completely ghost your own community to start over on a new account so you can have a peaceful corner of the internet and rebuild everything from the start up so you can get another source of income. Alright, I'm done. I think I got everything off my chest regarding this topic. Your favorite content creator is not a therapist. This parasocial relationship is really weird. Nobody should feel comfortable to go into detail on the abuse that they're going through, how they're being non-consensually touched by somebody in their life, or how they want to end themselves. Nobody wants to wake up and find that in their inbox. I hope I made myself clear that we are not obligated to help you or set aside our own comfortability or ignore our own mental health problems. Some of you are kind of ageist, trying to say, well, you're an adult, you shouldn't be suffering depression, all that stuff. Keep that same attitude when you're over the age of 18. And honestly, you're a really bad person for thinking that. And you're also a really bad person for trying to emotionally blackmail to get them to do what you want, or you want to spread lies about them online as some form of retaliation. Because again, you didn't get the one-on-one individual attention from them that you wanted. And for any content creators that actually made it this far in the video, you're not a bad person for setting up boundaries. Your own peace of mind is also worth protecting. Don't let people gaslight you or emotionally blackmail you and do what they want. you're allowed to have these boundaries, block them, don't interact. So, I'm gonna go watch one of my comfort shows. This topic was a lot. I'll be back like next week or 2 weeks from now at the time of uploading. I don't know. I'll come back with a more uplifting topic. Anyway, bye.